friends, it's me, Johnny Foxx, here with another episode of Fox Tales. And as always, I'm going to hand you straight over to this week's guest, and she can tell you all a little bit more about who she is and what she does.
Hello there, I am Maisie Jean. I'm an 18-year-old Sheffield singer-songwriter. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, happy to have you. So let's get straight into it. So, only 18, but how long have you been doing this?
Oh, a long while. I started performing about this time last year, but I've always been writing and playing in some sort of in some manner or another.
Back in the day, which isn't all that long ago, but it probably feels a long time ago, just the same. Um, so, what were the artists maybe that you were listening to that made you think, I can do that, I want to do that?
Oh, well, like from a very, very young age, like Amy Winehouse was sort of the ultimate like icon. Um, but I was very young when in her sort of prime. So I'd say the first few artists that sort of inspired me um, as an adolescent and when I was old enough to actually sort of emulate and pursue them was when I sort of fell in love with artists like Manic Street Preachers and the Smiths, because there was just like a sort of allure of all these artists from the past that I really wanted to sort of emulate and pursue.
How do you discover the older artists instead of just being all about your artist for your time?
Well, a lot of it was my parents' sort of influence. Like they'd mention an artist, or I'd hear one on the radio, and I think, "Hang on, this is awesome," and then I'd delve in. I don't enjoy stuff in moderation. I have to get completely obsessed and like dig into the nitty gritty.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I take these like casual passing interests and turn them into my obsessions.
I grew up with sort of like the late 80s, early 90s punk movement, or grunge. I've just threw up a bit in my mouth. I hate that word. It doesn't exist. About Maisie Jean. How would you describe your sound to someone new?
Very eclectic, and I think that's intentional. I don't want to sound exactly like any other person. I think I take my individuality very seriously, and it really bugs me to think that there's a lack of authenticity in something that anyone's doing. I think my lyricism is the sort of star of the show. So whether it's acoustic or I'm working with my electronic sort of synthy production, it's all sort of vessel to tell a story and to present a feeling or an emotion or a narrative. Yeah, I think as inspiration strikes, it's sort of, I've written songs about all sorts. Like a few years ago, I wrote a song about someone having their finger chopped off. Like there's any and everything, but I think there's a lot of love and angst and bitterness. It was Cold Bones Lullabies. I met him at an open mic last year. He says, "You're too young to be so bitter," but I think songwriting's a good vessel for all that sort of resentment. I think it's channeling all my negativity and my anger into music is like what makes me like a positive person, I think.
It's good. It's healthy. It is somewhat cliche, isn't it? But it's true. Most of us involved in some artistic endeavor, it is somewhat therapy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Easy to find maybe stuff. Not right now. Not right now, because this conversation is going to be far too good. But straight after this, jump on those socials, like, follow, get a listen, get to know the story. Just the sky is you, the sky is blue, and I love you. The birds are singing and winging and minging, or whatever.
It's me. Honestly, like you hear all these literal lyrics and I think like, why are you not just saying a sentence? Like I don't like the idea of writing a song, like writing music just to be famous or writing it just to sort of call attention. I don't like music without any sort of soul within it.
So what's the songwriting process for you, if you even have one? Do you actually go, I'm going to write a song today, make some time, clear some room, sit down and write? Or do you just, that rhyming couplet that's sprung in your head riding the bus or something and hope to fuck you can remember it and write it down later or something?
I think it's a lot of that. I'm always sort of in songwriting mode, so always in the back of my mind I'm thinking what, like, I'm feeling this way, how do I sort of squish it into a lyric? But when I do sit down and think, right, normally it's when I've had a song on the go for a few years, I'm like, right, it's gone on too long now, need to finish it. It's quite sort of intense. Like, I'll go all quiet and I'll be like scribbling in my notebooks. It's very rarely a sort of neat process.
You're buzzing about it. Maybe you come back to it the day after and kind of go, what the fuck is this? No, not this one. But
I'm very reluctant usually to sort of leave something completely. So there's stuff that will go unused in the foreseeable future, but I don't think of that as a reject. It's like, oh, I can come back to that. I can rephrase.
yeah,
I tend not to look at stuff as a lost cause or anything like that. I think during the process, there's a lot of what am I thinking, and sort of not recent. There's a few sort of choice lyrics from like, maybe not my best, but like I'll just change it when I'm playing it live. But I don't present stuff unless I think it's my best work. I'm very self-critical and I hold myself to a high standard. So at least now, I mean, I'm young, aren't I? There's still time to look back and cringe at it, but I tend I tend not to feel that way. No.
so how do you keep motivated for performance after performance, playing the same song? How do you keep yourself from getting bored of your own stuff?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. I think it's because my singing teacher has trained me with the sort of belief that a good singing performance is a good acting performance, and it's a well-told story. So I never perform the same song twice. It's always an experiment of how I can communicate this line and how I could change my intonation slightly to make it mean something slightly different. Like it's a very physical process. I think of it sort of it's very intense, and I think it's very rewarding to be able to share my music with a room full of people. I think that's what sort of keeps me motivated, is sort of wanting to do my best with the people I'm connecting with.
Fantastic. So you've had or are having sort of like formal
Yeah.
training.
I'm opera trained, believe it or not.
Impressive, these kids, man. This is why I'm out the game. I can't compete with this shit, because when you're as good as Maisie is, as you'll know when you get on those socials and you give it a good listen after this is finished, when you do that, you'll know what we're talking about. But there's always somebody, right? You can't please them all. Have you got the thick skin yet to cope with that?
I think the thick skin was built in. I'm tough, but I've not I've been lucky enough to not have much sort of blatant negativity in person. Most of the time it's just like sad sacks online, black profile, user 6420. I'm like, well, who are you to be calling me cringe and saying my songwriting's shit?
Yeah.
um, a lot of the sort of less than positive stuff that I receive in person is like some know-it-all thinking they can advise me, which really bugs me because it's I'm very set in my ways and I like doing stuff my way. I'll take constructive criticism from people who know what they're doing, but very rarely the people who want to stick their nose in do know what they're doing.
A particular piece of advice from someone throughout your life or your career that has been, mint, that you swear by?
Oh god, I had an interview a few months ago and I forgot this. I was like, I need to bear it in mind if I'm ever asked again in the future. My friend Nate Kennedy, we were at Fagin one night and he told me to inflict myself upon the world. That's resonated with me.
If you could start a rumor
Rumor.
about yourself. If you could start a rumor about yourself and everyone would believe it, what would it be?
I'm actually 47 and I've had 3 years.
And everyone just believes it because they're like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's like middle-aged angst. I can
Yeah,
relate.
that's the levels of bitterness in my music.
Okay, if you could have anyone, any other artist, living or dead, cover one of your tracks, who would it be?
Oh, I'm gonna say Love Cat. She's so sick. I think she bring a very sort of unique twist to it. I think her instrumentation's fab. Um, yeah, I think she'd get me.
um, does that bother? Is that something you think about? You're conscious about regards your music?
Um, I'm very looks conscious, but that's just the way I am. That's not really on or off stage. I'm always want to look my best. You always want to look cool, don't you? I think as long as I'm comfortable and I'm dressed in a way that pleases me, I'm happy. I'm never sort of trying to portray an image or trying to, like, you know what I mean. I don't want to feel like I'm wearing a costume.
Yeah, because I know because for some people, and I get the logic, the kind of the game face.
Yeah,
There's somewhat of a separation from like your personal and your professional. Becoming that person. Um, it's not fake in any way. It's still another part of yourself, but just to help. With the
yeah.
courage to get up on stage and do that. Some people need that. Some people don't, but I get that as well. So, would you rather fart glitter or burp confetti?
Oh fuck glitter! I love glitter. Everything shiny.
That'd be fantastic. Okay, if you could have one superpower, what would it be?
I think I'd fly because then I won't have to like faff around getting the bus and stuff. It would be so convenient.
Fly is cool. Fly is probably, I believe, it's the most common answer. Um,
For a reason.
yeah, for good reason. And you could shit on people you don't like, or shit on the cars.
Yes.
That'd be great. Birds have got it so good. Being a young woman in the rock and roll industry, I don't want to get overly political, but
Yeah.
how's that going?
I think I'm very often sort of underestimated, and if I get complimented, well, less so from women, but if I get complimented by and less so older blokes, if I get complimented by guys my age after a gig, it's normally like, oh, that was actually good, that was better than I expected, and you can tell that they see a young woman and they're like, oh, gonna be a bit shit. It's like, I like proving people wrong.
Do you have any kind of sort of like pre-gig ritual? Have you got any lucky socks, or do you say any kind of affirmation? Find a quiet place and say some affirmations. Be like looking in the mirror, like Maisie, you got this, or something.
Not really. I think it's the opposite. I make a habit of just being really chill about it. It's like just any other day. It's like I'm singing in my bedroom. Like I had sound check for a gig in April, and then when I finished, I went and gone bought some chicken for me tea. Like I'm very chill with it.
Rather skydive or scuba dive?
Oh, what a question! I think I'd scuba dive. Fish are well cool.
The scuba diving. It's like a whole being on another planet
Yeah, it's
down
mental.
there. We actually, it's just scientific fact. We know more about what's up there than we do about what's down there. We know more about other galaxies than we do about what's in the ocean. It's
I
nuts.
put that out.
To have your own clothing brand, what would you call it?
Oh, that's a really good question. I might be say Maisie Jean. Like you got to represent the brand, represent the
Yeah,
music.
yeah. So, okay. What if you had your own perfume, a signature perfume? What would that be called, and what would it smell like?
Oh my gosh. Uh, Be something to do with tears. The tears of the tears of my enemies. Imagine it was like Rose and Bergamus. So I think a bit of that, and then maybe like Bagash, something a bit gritty.
You know, that's apparently that's a thing in all perfume. There's all the lovely or whatever it might be. There's always like one kind of like shit smell in there for some reason. Something about the formula with this like whatever the flowers, dew, rainbows, and then like the cat's asshole. So, would you rather have ice cream that didn't melt or pizza that doesn't go cold?
Ice cream that don't melt. 'Cause you know what? I like cold pizza.
Yeah, absolutely nothing wrong with cold pizza. I've had many a breakfast pizza
It's the
and
best.
it's been fine, absolutely fine. I can tell maybe it's just a rock and roll thing. I don't know, but
Get it?
scarier. Clowns or zombies?
Oh, I love zombies. And oh, do you remember a few years ago when people were knocking about dressed like clowns? I was like 10 and that scared the shit out of me. Clowns, like, get away from me.
Any other? I was going to say fears. Any other actual phobias aside from creepy ass clowns?
I've got a really intense phobia of claw machines. You know, like at the arcade.
Yeah.
It really, I can't do it. My sister was trying to win a seagull a few months ago and I was literally screaming for my life. I was so freaked out.
So that would be like finding yourself shrunk down or trapped into having this claw.
Yeah.
That would be like the worst nightmare.
The nightmare.
You're going to tend to steer clear of construction sites and things like that if you can avoid.
I do like to sort of get on with it because if you give yourself, not necessarily false hope, but if you create expectations for yourself, you're just setting yourself up for disappointment. And like, I'm not making it to be wildly successful. I'm not creating music so I can be like, oh, I'm gonna headline a festival. I'm gonna get mega famous. Like I was seeing a lad who's like, I'm gonna sell out Oakwell Stadium, and you encounter people who you know are just in it for the sort of fame and attention. I'm like, it's just not. It's not the name of the game. It rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah, I mean, so if you go for a night out with one celebrity, living or dead, who would you take?
You see, Amy Winehouse is the go-to answer, but I don't know if I'd be able to handle it. She might be a bit intense.
Not to be too morbid, but especially if you're going to be a huge rock and roll celebrity, you may as well start thinking about. I know you don't want to think too much about the future, but you may as well think about it a little bit now. Um, if you could choose the way you go, for your rock and roll legacy,
Oh,
like how if you could choose, how do you die?
nothing boring. Definitely nothing boring. Like want to be shot up in a cannon or nothing. Like tragic stage diving accident. Drop me on my head.
Obsessed fan with Crane.
Yeah.
And then dropped from 40, 50, 100 feet.
To kill a clown.
I wish I'd just be bundled into the back of a white van one day while trying to buy Maisie Jean, trying to buy chicken after a gig, bundled into a white van, taken away somewhere and picked up and then dropped by a giant crane from huge height.
Oh.
Found as just jam amongst giant fucking Pikachus or something.
Yeah, I do just sort of let it happen. I'm very sort of casual with people coming in and out of my life because I'm a very sort of singular person. I'm very comfortable in my own company, so I don't put too much sort of pressure on myself to keep a big group of people around me. Mostly because it's exhausting and because I don't like people that much. I'll gel with people on a personal level, and then I won't put pressure on myself to like Yeah, I won't put pressure on myself with people that I don't gel with.
You'd rather be a vampire or a werewolf?
Oh, vampire, of course. Vampires are so cool. Werewolves are just like dogs. I've got a dog. I don't need to be one.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with being a hairy mammal. Um,
Fair enough.
I'm sort of like 2/3 wolf man at any given time. Never mind getting a Halloween costume. But yeah, no, everybody likes the sexy vampires.
Yeah.
Everybody loves vampires. This is Hollywood
To go. It
brainwashing.
was right after an exam, so I was knackered. My battery died in my guitar halfway through the set. My capo were broken, so half of the songs I wanted to do I couldn't, and I ended up forgetting all my words. So obviously not ideal.
No, and how do you pick yourself up and dust yourself off from that?
I think I treat it all as a learning experience, and like I'm very rarely sort of embarrassed by anything. I'm a bit obnoxious. I'm like, oh well, just treat it as a learning experience and move on. Just don't dwell on anything. I think life's too short. For example, recently, a fellow Sheffield artist called Laurie, she's offered me to perform a duet at her upcoming album launch show, and she's offered me a duet on one of her a verse on one of her songs, and she said that I can write that and take charge of it. I think that's my sort of dream collaboration, where I can just where I can inject myself into it rather than sort of having to adapt to someone else's process.
Is there a venue, maybe because you've seen one of your idols there or something like? Is there a venue that you could? But just if I could be on that stage, it'd be cool as fuck though.
Oh gosh, that's a brilliant question. I really like the Octagon in terms of Sheffield venues. I think for a bigger venue that's quite aspirational, it still feels really quite intimate. I've seen
Yeah,
like different shows there, and it's all felt very intimate and personal. I don't feel, because I've been to sort of stadium gigs and arena gigs, and you feel a massive disconnect. And I like, I love live music when you can feel it ringing in your ears, and it's sort of, it leaves your head a bit like dizzy afterwards, because it's the closeness between the audience and the music. I just love when the venue's really intimate.
you feel like this is gonna stick in here for some time.
My most recent gig at the Washington was, I was supporting Laurie. I've got the poster in the background here, and there was two girls right at the front of the crowd who knew every single word to all my songs, and it's just the most surreal, crazy feeling. It's like, hang on, you know my music, and you. I spoke to them afterwards. Like, they listened to me in the car, and I'm like, hang on, you you're listening to me. It's the most surreal thing to actually sort of
And
make.
it's like genuinely two somewhat randos, not like friends of yours.
Yeah, just like people that they see me at a previous gig and then they like listen to everything, and it's just like, what is happening right now?
Oh man, that's amazing. That's what you better get used to it. You better get used to it. I've seen a UFO.
No, I haven't. I want to. I want aliens to exist. I want ghosts and aliens to exist.
Ah, see, so you've preempted the next question. Have you ever seen a ghost?
I was friends with a ghost when I was little, because there's there's this paranormal phenomenon where you can communicate with a ghost with a pendulum. It's a bit like a Ouija board. You ask them to show you what movement means yes and what movement means no.
All right.
And by a process of elimination, I contacted the ghost of a little girl who died in World War II called Eileen, and she was my best mate.
Aliens. Aliens land, right? They don't land at the White House. They don't land at the White House lawn. I don't know if you have a lawn, but they don't land at the White House. They land at your house. Maisie Jean, on behalf of the whole human race, making first contact. What do you say?
Oh, you know what? I'd like make up a language. I won't speak like English. I won't speak any human language. And just start making weird, freaky sounds so that the aliens just look daft. Guys, I don't know what they're talking about.
Or when you have millions and millions of fans, You're going to need like a collective noun. You know, like Slipknot have maggots, or is Taylor Swift just Swifties? Is that a thing? Am I right on that?
Yeah.
I think I'm an old man. I know nothing about that woman. But Tadolf Switler, we call her in my house. But anyway, that's a totally different thing. I'm sure she's lovely. And I've got to be nice because I believe she has probably got snipers out there. So I'm going to keep moving now that I've said that. Uh, but yeah, you're going to need a collective noun for Maisie Jean fans. What shall we call them?
Fluorescent girls. I think my debut album made it quite easy.
Brilliant. Yeah, of course that. Even the boys.
Even the
Even the
boy.
boys. Even the boys, you're a fluorescent girl.
Yep.
There ain't nothing wrong with that. It's 2025.
Everyone's a girl.
Hell. Yeah, everyone's a girl. Rock a milk But if you will, just before we go, if you look right into that camera right there, and if you could just say, on behalf of Johnny Foxx, if you could just say for the kids at home, till next time, keep it foxy.
Till next time, keep it foxy.
There you go. Kids, this has
There
been
we go.
Maisie Jean. Get on those socials, check it out. More, even better, get to a gig.
Get to a gig.